Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Roll20 Presents The Burning Wheel. We are about to make some characters.
Hi.
The time has come. So, character creation in The Burning Wheel. The way this works, my dear friends, is that we go through a process together, making choices. Making characters in Burning Wheel is not a free-form, this is what I want, and this is what I get process. You have to make decisions, and we're going to follow our characters from their birth, step by step, through the tumult of life, up until the day we first see them. So
Right
the
on.
last life path you will have will be the thing you were doing when you learned that God died. Um, we've decided on 4 life path characters, and
Okay.
what you can do to generate your characters, if you have a life path you really want to be like, this is what I was doing when this happened,
Mm-hmm.
pick that life path and then work backwards to being born. This works well with complicated ones like knight, where you have to have been a bunch of stuff before you're allowed to be a knight. Or you can just kind of wander from where you were born to like wherever you ended up. Each life path will give you access to skills and traits. Let's talk about the elements of a life path. So in your copy of Burning Wheel Gold, a life path will tell you how long it takes to walk that path. So if you are a farmer, taking farmer once is an 8-year engagement. You have a term of 8 years as a farmer. You will get a certain number of resource points, which you use to buy material possessions, land, and spells, and to build relationships and acquire affiliations. It'll give you a stat bonus. If it says P, it's physical. If it says M, it's mental. If it says M/P, it's one or the other. And if it's M comma P, it's both. So this just represents your character's stat pool growing as we go. And then leads are other settings of life path that you can go to from where you're at. So if you want to move up or down in your station in life, you need a lead. So if you were born a noble and you want to become an outcast, you have to have a life path that leads you to outcasts, and then vice versa. So you can change. You don't have to. If you were born noble, you don't have to stay noble forever. You're allowed to move around. You'll have skills. Skills represent a set of skills that can be learned. You have to learn the first skill. So if you're a farmer, surprising no one, you have to learn how to farm. But it also starts building a skill list that you can later spend points on, like mending, animal husbandry, weaving, cooking, sewing, fire building, and singing. You'll then have a list of traits and a number of points. The first trait is in the same way, the one that you have to open. And if you have points left over, you'll have some other options. Anything on your list you can open less expensively. You'll also get some general points for skills and stuff, so that if you end up on your life path and there's a skill you didn't get that you really want, you can use some of your general points for that. So when designing your character, the very first step is thinking about character concept, an overall rough idea. Brutal knight, headstrong wizard, wily former slave hawker, a joke-cracking adventurer, etc. Your concept should abide by 2 guidelines. They should be feasible for the genre or style of the group, and they should be tied to the situation at hand. Now, we can start talking about connecting the characters now, or we can make independent concepts and then use our beliefs and what have you to tie each other together. How are people feeling? What are we thinking in terms of like concepts and
I
stuff?
have like 3 or 4 broad concepts for like what I could play, and
Okay,
it'll depend.
do you wanna
It'll
talk about those
depend.
a little?
Yeah, I have a couple of ideas,
Okay.
and feel free to make your input. But one of them is a like the court jester, basically character, like eyes and ears, invisible, but also very easily making very rude comments kind of character.
Okay. All right.
Um, the other is an inquisitor, like a religious, like someone who did violent actions for the church.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one is like an actor or like a playwright, like somebody who is basically like, God is dead. Oh, I can make so much money. You know?
Right. God may be dead, but art lives forever.
Yeah, exactly. God is dead, but if I write the best play about it, like I'm gonna make
Right.
so.
Maybe God lives on in these works, or maybe you're just like, no, this is a great opportunity. Okay. I like that.
So those are
I like all of those. I feel like the playwright is the most interesting one. But what's great about Burning Wheel is that you can play a playwright who or actor or whatever who is as effective in the game as like a wizard or a warrior might be. So
yeah.
okay. Anybody else have some concepts they wanna talk about or shop around a little? You're muted, Blue Jay.
I have a quick question, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of the life path leads say they lead to court. That's noble court, right?
It
There's
is,
no
yes.
like other court because one said like specifically noble court, and I was just like, okay,
Yep.
is this a different thing?
Yeah, court is just short for noble court. Yeah.
I had an idea, but I'm not exactly sure how to do it because, in classically in like Western Europe, there would be the young lady who's sent off to a convent to learn her everything and then comes back to court.
Yep.
There's not really like a I'm trying to find in the religious subsetting any kind of like you're not actually a nun. You were just like being
Sure.
taught at a convent, and I can't.
So a character like that could be like a born noble,
Mhm.
young lady, and then like the thing is, from young lady you could decide to be a nun, then you would become a nun, right? Like
But I
you,
don't want to be a nun.
exactly. So you never entered that. Just because you learned at a convent didn't mean you became part of that world.
So you're saying that I could say that that's true about my character, but not take any religious subsetting
Exactly.
life
Yeah.
path.
You never
Yeah, like
really.
young lady life path could happen at a convent, but it's still leading you back into the noble stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to have become a nun or a monk or whatever, then yeah, that would require buying into the subsetting. But yeah, you're welcome to have existed in that setting, but not a part of it. The other thing about
Okay.
life paths is that later, when we get into actually playing, when you make a circles roll, your circles are determined by the settings that you are in. So by learning about things in a convent but never actually becoming a nun, it would be more difficult for you to know other nuns or abbots or monks because your character never really bought in. You were never really part of their world.
Yeah. I was just like I was looking at doing the like cloistered nun one as the closest one, but they're like tonsured as their thing, and I'm like, oh,
That's
so
like
yeah.
that's like a for real, like you are like legit
For real
a
actual
nun.
nun, yeah.
A real ass
Yeah, like
nun.
you wear
A real
wear the
ass
hat.
nun.
Yeah.
Wear the hat.
That's how you know.
That's how you know. Yeah, headwear is very
That's how you
important to
know
religion.
you're a real
Based on
nun.
my understanding of it. Okay, yeah. So
Well,
like a young lady who went off to learn at a convent and then came home and then became something else instead of a nun. That's interesting. There's some drama there. Why didn't you stay? Why did you leave? Yeah, I like it.
I also have a question.
Yes, Dave.
There are a couple of extra life paths in the codex.
Yep.
I was looking in the wizard banner, maybe picking up apt pupil
Mhm.
life path,
Yep.
which would open like the main reason for it is I'm kind of into the idea of being gifted but not having any actual magic to start with.
Sure.
So that would allow, it doesn't automatically give you gifted, but it puts it on your trait list sort of thing.
Right. So you can buy it less
that's potential
expensively.
there. Yeah, I just wanted to check because
Okay. Yeah. If
and
that's
it
the
also
case,
gives you the believer trait, which is an interesting combo.
yes, absolutely. It's
Yeah,
to flesh out the concept. I think the whole time I've been saying maybe I'll be playing this character, but I'm kind of into the like the egotistical, prideful, maybe at one point branded as a heretic, like priest.
Yeah, I like the idea that gifted is treated differently depending, but that gifted people aren't like hunted or anything. There's no like mage hunters or whatever. Like people had art magic in the setting already, and people you could go to like a magician, and some of them were charlatans, but maybe a few of them actually had magical talents. In the same way that, like we were talking about before, there were monks or priests that were like studying magic or alchemy or whatever in the real world. But yeah, apt pupil is totally open as an option. Cool. Andrew, what do you think? Spirit binding?
I want to be a freaking witch.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
It's hard to do it in interesting ways with only 4 life paths is the one thing.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
I'm not averse to like if you really need another life path, going with 5.
I might
If people really need
try to
it.
find a compelling reason to go to 5.
Okay.
But mostly I don't get to take the crazy witch life path in the current setup, and I really want to have that life path under my belt.
You would need
but-
you'd need 5 to get there?
I need 5 to do crazy witch as well as the other stuff. So here is the other thing is I'm going to be using a bunch of the life paths from the Wizard Burner, specifically Born Gifted and Speaker of Names.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea of having my character be one who was kind of in that pastoral setting and has like only come to the city recently, perhaps in the like secret employ of some noble or something.
Some noble lady.
Yeah, like so the reason I would want to go to 5 would be to take Court Sorcerer, which requires that I be a rogue wizard first.
Mm-hmm.
So I can go Court Sorcerer, or to like really entrench in the pastoral setting and get Crazy Witch and some other stuff.
Sure,
Court
yeah.
Sorcerer is awesome.
Yeah.
You should definitely be a court sorcerer for no reason that has.
And then the other things that interested me about this character are 1, being blind, and 2, that as a gifted child, so that's like the born gifted
Mhm.
thing, you get to have a spirit familiar.
So
I
That
can
sounds
have like
great.
a cool little
What do you
seeing
do?
eye pet with me, as well as being blind. So
I love the fact that we're probably going to end up now with 2 gifted characters who are going to be so completely
yeah,
different.
just like
Mine's like a.
I still have no idea what I'm gonna do.
Well, we're using most of the magic available to us in the game, so it makes sense that we're gonna lean in that direction. I like it.
I want Andrew's character to be my Nostradamus,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be the Dowager Queen of France or something.
Oh,
yo,
Your character
I
will
will
never
say-
be your character would never be old enough for that, but yes.
I know.
You're all going
There's
to be
no way.
adults of varying ages.
oh.
So yeah, that's a thing. So we'll be choosing life paths as we move along, and on the character sheet. Let me pop over to gameplay. So on the character sheet, we'll be looking at the character burner section of the sheet. And what you want to write down there is for your life path where it says born ... you'll put born whatever your first life path. You'll put the time that it takes there. For the lead column, obviously your first life path is not a lead, but if it is, put a 1 there, because what it is it adds a year to your life every time you lead. Basically, you have to spend a year transferring from not one life path to another, but from one setting to another. So this was the like if you're a peasant and then you move to village or whatever. You put how many resource points, you can put how many mental and physical points you get. There's a skill list and a general list. Usually you only get general points from your born life path. So you put that there under general, you put skill, how many skill points you get, and then you put how many trait points. And then as you're doing that, as you're filling out your life paths, down on the skill list, start building a skill list there of the skills that show up in your life paths.
So we just put all of them down, right?
Yes, write them all down. These are not the ones you're getting. These are just the ones that are available to you because they'll cost less. And these are what you're going to spend that skill column on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about deleting them or anything. You want to build up the library because you then transfer them to a different part of the sheet later.
Yeah, all the ones you keep will end up on there.
Okay, so we have to have 4 life paths?
Four, or if you like really need 5, you could go with 5 to fulfill your character. But I
Well,
think
I'm just
4
trying to
makes the most
see
sense.
because born noble, young lady,
Yeah.
like, and then lady, or born noble, young lady, courtier, and then lady. I'm not like
So
I could
many-
just do
so
3.
many ladies. So let me suggest an option
Yeah.
for you.
Yes. Please.
So it's an oft overlooked path, but born noble,
Mhm.
young lady, lady, and then wife is a good one, or city wife, depending on who you marry, I guess. But there's some options where you're basically your job is to be someone else's wife, and then at the beginning of the game you can be like, yeah, they're dead, or maybe they're still around and they're interesting, but you
have a hateful relationship with them. Or
essentially when you take the one of the wife paths, you
I would
get
have to not be in the noble court setting then.
you get a bunch of Yeah, let me find the one in noble.
So the idea with any of the spouse life paths, which is how I like to more egalitarianly describe
Yeah.
them, is that you get the life path stuff from whatever your spouse's life path was. So if they were a blacksmith, you get a bunch of blacksmith skills essentially.
Mhm.
'Cause
Yeah, it
you're living
doesn't.
with them, working with them, whatever. But
I feel like lady is kind of like a wife life path.
and the reason that there's no wife life path in the noble subsetting is because as a noble person's spouse, you don't work. You
Yeah.
don't do their job in the same way that as like a peasant's spouse.
So I would have to like step down to like a city person to be able to take a wife.
You can look at it that way, or you could look at it as being you're embracing the burgeoning middle class. You've chosen a husband who is
A
like a
merchant.
baron, right? A merchant, someone who is like practical.
Yeah, they
and
can have
rising
a
in the
super
world.
high class.
Well, there is a baron and dame life path.
You just have to.
Dame would probably be.
The thing about wife is you have to use it in city, which means that your spouse has to be in the same setting as you. So you have to pick there are like some city noble things that you can pull. Yeah.
What is courtier? Like what is a courtier? That's like someone who is at court and like active in court, right?
Yeah. Hangs out in politics in court.
Well, I
Someone-
could just go born noble young lady, courtier lady, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
totally.
Yep.
It just changes the like vibe of it, right? Like if you were never someone's wife, then you don't have that like connection. If you're a lady, you're more like self-made. I feel
Do
like.
I have to take a wife life path to be married?
No, you can buy a relationship and have yeah.
Okay. And the wife life paths are all outside of the noble court setting, which
Yeah.
I don't really see myself.
You want to stay noble.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Fuck yeah.
I mean,
course.
you can take you can take
So these the Baron, Viscount, Count, Duke, Prince stuff, those are those that's not gendered, right?
no, but the requirements maybe is the thing. Like again in our setting, much like the default burning wheel life paths, assume a gendered hierarchical society.
You're assumed to be in like patriarchal, medieval, wherever.
Yeah.
Which is true up until the moment the game begins.
So I'm assuming
look for
that
the requirements in the life paths.
I'm assuming that Dame is basically like wife of noble.
Yeah, well, Dame is just like a powerful woman.
It's the equivalent rank to Duke, isn't it?
No, it's
no. So in this case, the requirements.
Dame is like a knighted lady.
The requirements
Right,
for Dame is you have to be either a lady or city wife with magnate or bishop as your life path, or your lordship trait. So yeah, Dame is just fancy lady with lots of resources.
Fancy lady.
Yeah.
Not lady with a capital L, but a fancy
I would rather have a
lady.
rapier wit, so I think I'm gonna go with the courtier thing. But I can
mean-
maybe buy a husband later.
How could we not have Blue Jay with a rapier wit? She'd be playing it even though she
Yeah.
didn't have the trait.
Yeah.
It would be cheating.
I
would be.
I'm having trouble deciding what I'm doing here because we have like two kind of magic related characters. We have a noble lady,
Mhm.
and we're doing like a court intrigue kind of setting. It seems.
Yeah, so it's important. I think as we talk about this, it's important for all of the characters to work together and to not be like three people in a noble court and one who's like a D&D character.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I'm trying to not do that.
Yeah, totally.
That was
my-
more
my-
me. That was more me warning the magic twins not to go too off base.
The magic twin.
I don't want to
Yeah.
be like a sending fireballs sorcerer kind of person. I want to be a like oracle
Yeah.
more than anything.
Because I think the
Yeah.
thing is that your magic stuff has to represent your current
I
your
think-
previous place in society. So if you're like, I'm going to build a necromancer, it's like, well, okay, how were you this?
I think
are
for,
you in
for
society?
sure I'm going to go for the jester. I'm just
Okay.
working on how to get there.
Okay, well let's talk about it. So where's the jester life path?
It's in court. So like if I want to do from city, I basically have to do like coin clipper or dilettante or
Dilettante's pretty good.
sculptor or
let's-
painter, composer. These things like gonna kind of get there.
Yeah.
An
so
artist who went to
do you have
court.
a page number for Jester? I just want to take a look at
Court jester. Hang on, it's in the court setting. Let me see here. Yeah, but I'm definitely gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jester. Okay, that's cool.
Just looking for it here.
So this is an example of the working back, right? Where you're like,
Yeah.
I was a jester right before the biggest joke in the world.
Yeah, so it's on page 179.
Okay, you're the comedian.
Yeah, I mean,
there
court
it is.
jester, desperate killer was always the joke I made, so I'm gonna do the court jester part.
Okay, so court jester, yeah, all it requires, it doesn't have any requirements.
It has
You
no
just need to
requirements,
be
yeah.
in the noble court
I
setting.
just need to make it to the noble court.
Okay.
So you could be born noble and then be a court jester, like it's totally a thing.
And then the other ways. So let's imagine if you want to do city dweller, because city dweller is quite large. City dweller leads out coin clipper, like you said. You make a bunch of money with forgery and like. Okay.
It's just that doesn't lead to very jestery. I don't know.
I mean,
like, stuff.
it's up to you to determine how that happened.
I mean, that's what I mean. And
What else we got?
my thought
student.
for student.
Student can lead you to court. Ganymede, which is a complicated life path. Ganymede is a complicated life path because it represents the place of a visibly out homosexual man in this culture. It's a slightly.
It's specifically that you're the like pretty boy servant.
Yes, yeah.
to
Well, it's
a
named after
gay
what Jupiter's
older man.
little
Yeah.
boyfriend. And yeah, you have to take the catamite trait, which is the medieval slur for
This is all
for people with that.
this is all precluding male as well, which is not something I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's just
so-
that's an option. I just wanted to talk about it. 'cause
Assuming
it's a
that
thing in
the
setting.
gender of this court jester is not going to be a problem.
I mean, we could make a custom version of the Ganymede life path that is just
Sure.
you're a female version of that because
Yeah.
it's just as not okay.
It
It's just
really-
a patriarchal society generally is more inflictive of violence on men who deviate sexually, but
Yes, yeah, well, exactly. And it's not. I mean, this is why I wanted to bring it up and talk about it because I think that it is. It's interesting and it's a thing that we can play with, especially given that the core premise of the game is that the society that would be abusive to those people is crumbling, right? That's happening. Anyway, so that can lead to court.
Yeah, that's it. That's actually fairly interesting.
Dilettante can lead to court.
Dilettante's great because it's just like I know a couple of things. Like
Well,
that's-
dilettante is fun because you have to take sorcery wise, but you may not have any sorcery. You're just like, I know about magic.
yeah.
I love the occult.
I know enough to be scared of magic.
I've read all the books.
I know
and
that
then
magic is
also superstitious.
I know that magic is real.
Yeah. So so that dilettante is a fun one. You can take. Let's see. what
I
else
sort
is
of-
court?
The thing I'm going for, like the sort of possible situation that I'm going for here is like court jester is the peak of this person's life. You know, like this is like I worked really hard to get into
okay.
this cushy position of court jester. Like born slave, if I could pull it off, would be even better. You know, like this is the kind of stuff that I'm like looking for.
Okay, Elf, here's a thought.
Okay.
Here's the thought. I'm just thinking of this. In the like death cults thing in the Codex,
Yeah. Where's that?
there is a spy life path.
Oh God.
Just put it out there. Are you in the court because you're a spy?
Yeah. So you take a look at that for the audience's sake. I'll read. You could also be a painter, a composer, or a dramaturge. Those all lead to the court.
Yeah, but those all sound like good jobs on their own. You know what I mean? Like that's.
Well,
the
I was
thing.
thinking for
It's not like
dramaturge, it could be you wrote a play that offended the wrong person, they arrested you, your options were we're going to cut off your head publicly, or you could be a laughingstock the whole rest of your life. Caper for me, fool. Right? So disgraced to dramaturge in that way.
And sort of like that's where I was going with it a little bit in terms of this is like, thank God I'm alive. You know, like
Mhm.
sort of a situation.
Yeah.
Elf equals secret Stygian. Yeah.
One last thing I'll throw out there is
Yeah.
that there was this talk of like a Ganymede style life path.
Yeah.
What if your character was in love with Blue Jay's character?
Hmm.
when she shouldn't be because she's a lady.
Yeah, totally an option.
I'm always okay with that. I'm always okay with being
That could, as a way of like tying all these characters together, that could be a cool way.
Yeah.
Or like
Oh yeah, like write a belief or whatever about it.
Hmm.
having your character be faithful in their weird oppressive religion, but then also being
Thank God I'm alive. Oh wait, God's dead.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at least one of us is alive. Yeah, really, like the noble court. I think that the reason why almost all of the kind of craftspeople ones, like engraver, saddler, armorer, plumber,
Yeah.
like why all of those lead into noble court is because you could be someone who is so exceptionally good at your job. The noble court was like, yes, come be the court plumber. We need
Yeah,
someone who knows how
we-
to like deal with
need you.
the lead pipes of the court.
do the king's nails.
Yeah,
Yeah.
jail warden.
I think what I might
Oh
do.
my God, you could have been a lawyer.
I think what I might. Oh, a lawyer to court jester.
Well, yeah, advocate is a thing, right? That's kind of, it requires student, so you could be city-born student, advocate, court jester. So you used to be a highfalutin city lawyer, but now you're the joke of the court. Yeah, so that's an option. Doctor, banker.
There's also the option to just go like, where is it here? I could go city-born, Ganymede, servant, court jester.
Mhm.
That's a possibility.
What I might suggest for you instead
What?
of
What?
looking at the death cult, some cool things that might tie you a bit closer to like my character or like the bad sort of stuff is in between there you could at some point become a harem slave and you get like creepy priest wise, death cult wise,
Yeah, that shit is
Right.
also a little on the nose. That's good.
Yeah, like you ended up being numb, but like that came out as you like expressing yourself as a jester because you're like so like mentally broken. Like, that experience.
Harem slave is an intense one.
Harem slave is nasty. Yeah.
Yeah, but it lets you back
But
up.
it is good. Yeah. Narratively. I'm sorry I'm being
You think
troublesome.
being a court jester is bad? Let me tell you about my last
Let
job.
me tell you about my last job. Yeah.
I have a quick question just
Mhm.
because I'm not used to doing like big traits and stuff.
Yeah.
To pick up gifted, for example,
Yes.
I know that normally most life paths don't have it in and you have to pick it up and it's super expensive.
It costs 7 if it's not on your list. Yeah.
Oh,
Life-
is it extra if it's not on your list?
No.
Not
I mean, if they might have changed the cost of it. But what's the cost of gifted normally?
5.
Okay, so it's 5. It's 5 if it's not on the list. If it is on the list, it's 1.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
any trait that's in your list of traits
Will
from
be
your
1 no
life
matter what.
plus 1.
Perfect.
Unless it says that it's not. Rapier wit says it's 2.
No. So what you're looking at is
Where-
your list says 2 points and then rapier wit, right?
Oh yeah.
So it means you get 2 points, one of which has to be spent unlocking rapier wit. You get one other
Okay.
point you could spend anywhere.
Okay.
And then it gives you a list. The rest of your list is traits you can buy at 1.
Yeah.
You'll
so
have this big package of traits you can buy at 1, a bunch that are required that you have to spend 1 to buy, and then
So
those plus the rest of the traits in the game if you have enough points to buy.
if
them.
you want to,
So the first trait and skill are required.
yes, you'll have to open or buy them. We'll talk about that
So
once
I
the
mark
list is built.
required for those guys
Yes,
when I'm marking
yeah,
them
mark
out.
mark the little rec
Okay.
part on there for those.
Okay.
And second question,
Yes.
because they're kind of in the special life path, so they're a bit confusing.
Yep.
Leads out of things because I've never understood this.
Yes.
Really, can you lead to anything, but it costs extra?
No. You have to have a path that leads to it. So
Okay.
like if you are born in the city and you want to get to Outcast, you have to have a life path that says leads Outcast. So these are leads out, not leads in.
Okay, right, yeah, because I wanted to kind of go apt people and make my way into the church or religious, but it doesn't. It's not a lead.
Yeah, what does app people have as leads out?
Outcast, soldier, and servitude.
So you'd have to find a church one, you'd have to find a religious one in one of those 3 and lead through that.
Yes.
So if there's something in Outcast, you could lead back into religious or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm looking at what the difference is between the born life paths, and it's really if you want more traits or more skill.
Basically, the noble one gives you more resource points,
Yeah.
and the ones that start off less well off have more like trait points and more general points for skills. So it's kind of that's what you're buying in part, as well as access, obviously.
If
Oh, I can't be born noble anyway.
Okay.
Can't be a born noble apt pupil. Apparently, if you're noble, you're too noble to learn properly, to be apt.
Sure. Yeah,
hey,
that
there's
makes
plenty of student life paths in Noble. Come on. But if two life paths have the same first required skill,
Yes.
do you
They're not.
just
Yeah, just put it on the list and mark that it's required once. But once you've already opened it, you don't have to like do anything else with it. If it's
like
only
it's not like
multiple.
well then choose the next one as required unless you are choosing the same life
Let me
path
double
twice.
check.
I recently read the rules for this, and yeah, you just pick any other skill that you want
Okay.
from your list of skills. It's
Yeah.
you just
I
get,
love
like,
how it's required that I learn to write but not to read.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So yeah, writing and reading are two separate skills in Burning Wheel because in real life there were monks who could write but not read. They would just copy the things that they were looking at exactly. And then yeah, you could be able to read but not replicate like the words from your head onto paper. To be like, I know that this word means dog if I look at it, but later if I'm not looking at it, if I'm like I want to write dog, I might not know the letters to like put that together.
I think it only requires the next one if I'm taking the same life path twice, chat.
Let's
Thanks.
double check. We can look at it because we have books.
Dave, how are you working harem slave into this? Because I can't find a way back into court once I'm there.
Oh,
Just a question.
yeah. When I was looking at it, it led back into servitude, and when you said it, you said like a servant
So you
as
could
your third life
do
path.
like city dweller harems, or like born slave, harem slave, servant, court jester.
Something like that. Yeah, if you want to have had a really fucked up.
It would
life.
be fucked
Oh,
up.
okay. Yeah, they're right. It's on page 87. Sorry.
Required skill. Yeah, the first skill listed is required. You must open it, but doesn't have to advance it. If you already have it from another previous path, the next skill is required. Oh, I see. Yeah. So exactly, it just makes the next one the one you have to take, and so on. And if you have the first two, it's the third one that counts as the first one for requirements.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
that makes sense.
That means I have to have estate management. Blah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Estate management is awesome. That's how you make fat ducats.
Yeah.
Fat ducket.
You
The
gotta get
most
those ducats.
Fat duckets.
Adam.
As a court jester. Oh, sorry. You carry on.
Go ahead, Andrew. Yeah.
Sorry, I just have a quick question. What does the Cassandra trait do?
The Cassandra trait, I think it's a character trait, right?
It's
Is it one
yeah. There's
point?
no description. There's no description of it in the
How
book.
much does it cost? If it costs one, it's a character trait.
There's no entry for it at all in the book.
Okay.
It's on my list for Augur,
Okay, I
and
assume.
I have a vague memory of reading it somewhere, but it's not in the.
So it's one of those reference traits. And what it means is that you can, whether you can tell the future or not, no one will ever believe you.
Oh right, it's that no
Yeah.
one believes you when you tell the future.
Yeah, you're stuck with having to.
I have way too many good traits. I can't handle it.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's a 1 point character trait. Yeah.
I can have an aura of fear.
The auras are quite good.
Just everyone
Oh,
has to make a
yeah,
skill
or-
test when they see me.
If you get aura of fear, I think that means if you ever die, I get it slightly easier if I want to raise you.
Do you want to talk? So let's talk about for traits because you're going to do spirit binding. Let's talk about the ones that make it easier or more possible for you. Because
Oh,
when
yeah, help
I
me out
played
with
this IRL and I had someone, Emily was playing a spirit binder. There was specific traits that she had to like angle for to make it easier to actually like summon and bind things. So if you can get these traits, here we go. If you are, here we go. Imminence describes how close to the spirit world the character is. Consult the following list of traits and apply the correct modifier. If you are imminent, You gain a +1 die. Spirit nature, immortal, essence of the earth, cold black blood, or stink of the ancient. Those are almost all outside of human purview.
So here's the thing, Adam.
Yeah.
I can take Fey Blood as one of my
Yeah,
traits.
I was about to
I can
say.
get one of those.
And then that's how you angle into that. So with Fey Blood, so you're like part elf or troll or monster. If you are preeminent, which means you contain a sliver of the spirit world, you have odor of spirits, ancestral taint, stone's age, shaped from earth and stone, second sight, touch of ages, mark of the beast, haunted, tainted legacy, or Fey Blood. No modifier. If you are mundane and mortal and have none of those, you get a +2 ob.
Hey, so side note, I figured out how I can do this.
Okay, you've got your track.
Born slave, harem slave, poisoner, court jester.
Holy shit.
Okay, fuck yeah. I'm into this.
So,
quite a lot.
harem slave is in. Do you have a page number for it? I want to take a look
No,
at it.
I took harem slave from the original book, the gold book.
Oh, it's in gold. Okay.
On 193.
Okay. I'll take a look.
Top 193. Yeah, born slave.
Ooh, your
harem
character is
slave,
going to be
poisoner, court jester.
Andrew, as someone who's played a born slave character,
It's the best way to go. It's fucking awesome.
your character. Yeah, your character. The thing is, your character. You have to take the broken trait, right?
Yeah.
Which means when people tell you what to do, you do it. And that can be really fun because then you end up doing a lot of things you don't want to do.
When people tell you what to do, elf, you do it.
So let's talk about harem slave. So if you, born slave gives you broken with the options for scarred, maimed, and lame. You get 2 points of general and one point that you have to take slavery wise. You spend 12 years as a slave. You get 5 resource points and -1 mental or physical point, depending on what kind of slavery you suffered under. And then you were saying harem slave is would be the next one.
Yeah.
And what page was that on?
193.
193. Harem slave. Yeah, harem slave. Then you would learn falsehood and seduction, but you would become numb and worldly.
Yeah.
And you can tell me what kind of harem that you were a slave in.
And then poisoner.
And then poisoner, which is a fun jump.
Which is a fantastic jump.
Where's poisoner?
It's on 195. Yeah.
Okay. And then as a poisoner, you would learn poisons, also cooking. Inconspicuous and disguise. You have to take off kilter, but you would get another free trait point.
Off kilter is perfect for me.
Off kilter, which I believe is just a character trait. And then from there to court jester.
Court jester.
I mean, the implication here is the reason you became a poisoner was to free yourself from being a harem slave.
But probably at the behest of someone.
Sure, yeah. It wasn't just
who then rewarded me
by
with
making
the
you a jester.
job.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, that's
Yeah,
so
I'll
good.
I'll sell you to these guys if you do this thing for me.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's why I don't have a husband anymore.
Oh shit!
That's heavy.
Oh shit!
So, and then court jester teaches you sing, sleight of hand, climbing, conspicuous, throwing, and one of the best skills in the game, ugly truth. And then you have to take scapegoat, but you can also take aura of innocence, which is super useful for a poisoner.
Yep.
Aura of innocence, and then you'd have a free. Yeah, you'd have another free.
Oh yes, I'm so happy with this. Good. All right, cool. I've got something. Let me write
that's
all this
so
shit
good.
down now.
Just for your consideration, there's an alternative harem slave in
In the other book, yeah, I saw, but it gives me like creepy priest wise, evil necromancer wise.
So this is the thing. If you were a harem slave to a secular harem, and it was just like a person who owned sex slaves, basically, then that's the normal one. The one in the book is you're the harem slave of a Thulsa Doom.
Evil, yeah.
Right? This is the like.
It's like if I were a
cult slave.
Stygian sex slave, maybe.
Exactly. Stygian sex slaves of the Forbidden Desert. So you want to go
All
with
right,
mundane?
I gotta write all this shit down now.
All right, cool.
Hey, Adam,
Yes.
I can take grief.
Right.
I can start the game with grief.
That's
Or
awesome.
hatred, for that matter, if I wanted to.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Fable
So you can have an inhuman emotional attribute.
Because it's tied to a trait, and it's one of their starting traits, so I get it for free by having Fable. This is so silly. Okay, I gotta do my homework on this one because I could also have greed, which would be really fun.
We're all like Yeah, let's do humans. And Andrew finds the only way to somehow become an elf.
Look, it's a little loophole. Let's just pull on this thread.
Yeah. All right. So the way, just to clarify for our studio audience here, let me talk a little bit about. It's Fey-blooded is the name of the trait, right?
Fey-blooded is the name of the trait.
All right. So I will look that up and I'll read it out for everybody. So Fey-blood or Fey-blooded allows you.
Yeah.
326. So Fey-blooded allows you to take a trait from a non-human race. The blood of the elder folk runs through him. The character may choose one trait from the elf, dwarf, or orc traits list. Life path and common racial traits are free. Normal costs apply to special traits. So
yeah, all the common traits, which include the emotional attributes that they all have, etc.
So you could take as a if you go with like elves, for example. Let me find the elf paths.
Yeah, you can do like fair and statuesque, or
yeah, the elven common traits are born under the silver stars, which means that if people look at you, you shimmer with an unmistakable halo like white light through a gossamer veil. You could take essence of the earth, so you feel no earthly cold or heat. You are ageless and will only pass on when the earth ends. You could take fair and statuesque, which just means you're hot like an elf.
Elf hot.
You could take firstborn, which means you are made of the fabric of nature and thus know its secrets well. You could take grief, or you could take keen sight, so you can see great distances with perfect clarity. But you want to be blind,
so I don't want to take keen sight.
Yeah. So there's that.
There's that. The orc ones are all fucking amazing.
Are the orc?
but-
So is orc included in Fey-blood, or is it just dwarf and elf?
Yes, it's orc, dwarf, or elf. It doesn't include dark elf.
Right.
The only
Right, because
or
to be a dark elf, you're not born into it. You have grief, but if you had grief, you could turn it into
could
spite.
turn it into spite, but I would never be a dark elf.
Yeah. So for your spirit binding, I believe it's essence of the earth that makes you. It's one of the ones on
Essence of the earth is a bonus die one.
the bonus die. Yeah. Just being Fey-blooded takes away the penalty, but you could choose another one to make you better.
Sorry, just a quick question.
Yeah.
When it says skills 2 points general, semicolon 1 point slavery wise, do I just have 3 points of skills? And
No, you have add 2 to your general column, add
Okay.
1 to your skills column, and then your required is slavery wise.
Okay.
Sorry, Adam, where does it list all that stuff for spirit binding?
I just closed it. It's under preeminence or imminence. It is on page.
Is it in the codex?
Spirit taint? Yeah, it's in the codex. Timing of
And it's a trait, right?
It talks about it on page 309. Imminent,
Oh.
preeminent, or mundane immortal. It'll list it there for you.
Thanks, friend.
Okay, so Blue Jay, how are you doing? Have you picked your life paths? Yeah.
I've picked my life paths. I've marked down all of the skills that are required and all the other skills that I can unlock and traits. I just don't know how to spend the points that I have.
Nice. Okay, let me check your math here. So your character will end up with an extra 3 mental points. You have 80 resources.
Mhm.
Your character looks to be 29 years old. She was born a noble, spent time as a young lady, as a courtier, and now is a full-fledged lady of the court, which is dissolving. And you've got 29 skill points, 5 general points, and 5 trait points. Dope.
So yeah, how do we go about spending the points? We just like mark open
So,
and then
yeah,
mark
let me-
like a point off?
Let me
Or-
talk about how this works. So the next thing you'll do is actually not skills. It's age and stats.
Okay.
But do you mind if we wait until everybody's ready to talk that stuff out and we do it all
Yeah,
together?
of course.
Okay.
I just I figured mine out rather quickly.
What you can do as homework, if you'd like, is turn to the skill list in the back of the book and go down that list and see where it says root on the skill list. Sorry, on your character sheet.
Okay, yeah, root.
Where it says root and it says they all default to will. You'll click that box where it says, or not the box, but the down arrow. Click that and then
And-
pick the thing that it's attached to. There's a skill.
That actually is.
Yeah, there's a skill list that starts on page 580. Nope, that's spells. You don't have spells. 590. If there's 2 things, if it's a split between 2, so if it says like per agi, you can click the box to add another column to that skill and pick the second one. So
590, you said?
Yeah, start on 590. So, for example, the writing skill is perception and agility. So,
Okay.
change the root from will to perception.
Okay.
Then click the little checkbox next to it. Then change the next drop down to agility.
Okay.
Okay, go. And so
All
just
right,
do that for all the skills you're interested in. If you want to, do it for all of them.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah. We'll talk about spending skill points and everything together. How's everybody else doing? Are we good?
can't
Let's
find
see.
my-
I'm just copying in the
just copying
skills
all
that I
yourself.
have and stuff.
Okay.
Whereabouts in the life path is religious acolyte?
It should be.
It's not in the actual religion one.
Let's see. Let me take a. I have a list of all these here. So.
So I'd like to end up at priest somehow, but I need to.
Okay. Right. You want to try to work your way back from priest through apt pupil to born something.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
that.
I have to go apt people, something in outcast or servant. I might need 5.
Okay. All right. Let me
There's
take a.
like-
Let me take a look here.
Both of these things, I don't
Let
think.
me look through my little database, my list. Okay. Acolyte. Oh, okay. It's just called acolyte, I think.
Right.
A few of them are like that, where they're like called one thing. It's in it might be in noble. Let me keep looking. Failed acolyte, temple acolyte. Okay, so there are specific ones. Temple priest, religious acolyte. I found it. It's in the noble setting.
Oh, I can't get there.
Yeah.
Right.
Because sometimes I feel
noble.
like we need
Ugh.
sometimes I feel like we need a tool, kind of like making personas, where you're like, I want this. I have this many paths. How do I get there? And it just
Yeah.
like
The
searches them all.
flowchart generator.
Yeah, it just searches them all and tells you.
Okay, so if I need, I require temple acolyte or religious acolyte. I think the likely one is temple acolyte.
Okay.
But that also has a require.
Temple
What
acolyte,
was-
I think, requires something else too.
Yeah, I might need 5.
Temple acolyte needs no, actually, it has no requirements. Temple acolyte is just a city life path, and it gives you believer, tonsard, or faithful. You get doctrine, bureaucracy, right, read, and temple wise, and you just have to be in the city path to be able to get to it.
Okay, so I need to get somehow from servant to city or from
It's on bottom of 171. Temple acolyte.
71, right? Okay.
Can I just say that
Okay.
being a poisoner and having an aura of innocence is like just about the best thing.
Uh-huh. Yeah, do you want to talk about your auras? Do you have Aura of Innocence at hand? Do you want to read what it does?
I don't have it at hand.
Okay, I'll see if I can look it up.
It's on, and I'll 100% read it. I just don't know
Okay.
where it is.
So Aura of Innocence. And this isn't just like you seem innocent. It's you like literally have an aura, like a magically perceptible. Excuse me. It's a call-on trait on page 313.
313. Okay. 313, Aura of Innocence. This character projects the appearance of being completely free of taint and guilt in any crime. No one would ever suspect them. This is a call on for falsehood or inconspicuous when dodging guilt.
Someone has poisoned the priest. Who did it? And you're just like, no one would even think to look at you if you take that trait.
Ha ha ha! Funny joke.
I know a joke about a poisoning. Awesome. That's so good. Guilt slides off of you like water from a duck's back.
I'm also a scapegoat and off kilter and broken.
Well,
however,
what's funny is that you're a scapegoat, but you're also innocent, so people blame you for stuff, but it never really sticks.
it never sticks. Yeah.
Yeah, they know it wasn't really you.
Yeah, exactly. You probably get beat up a lot, but never really like actually accused of anything seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't have been the court jester. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
they're just venting on me. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Do you have your skill list sort it out? Yeah, you do.
I do, yeah.
Oh my god, look at your traits. Broken, scarred, maimed, lame, numb, worldly, off-kilter, scapegoat, and aura of innocence. Amazing.
I'm assuming I don't have to take them all.
No, you have to be broken. You have to be numb. You have to
And
be.
I have to be off kilter and a scapegoat.
How come you have 4? Was there a duplicate? Oh, because Born Slave comes with one, right?
Comes with broken.
Right. Most of them don't, but okay. Right. Broken, numb, off kilter, and his off kilter is just a character trait, right?
Off kilter, I don't know.
Okay, let me look.
I
So
don't know
there's
shit.
three types of traits. There's character traits, call-ons, and die traits. Call-ons let you do like re-rolls.
Okay.
Die traits give you a special like ability or extra dice you roll, and then character traits are just for role playing so that you can get Artha. So let's look at off kilter. I think it's just a character trait. Most of them are.
Off kilter is the character trait.
Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, you just play your off kilterness.
She's just a little bit weird.
Yeah, the description. Let me look up off kilter's description on let's see here, in the dictionary.
Dictionary.com.
Yeah, dictionary. The dictionary defines off kilter as unconventional or eccentric, not aligned or in balance. So just a little kooky, a little weird.
It's very Corchestery.
I think I've got
Oh
my
my
part
god.
ended up real weird. I'm super happy.
Your character ended up real weird, Dave.
Yeah, I think if we don't mind me being 5, otherwise I can't do this concept. But I'm a born peasant to apt pupil to deranged to temple acolyte to priest.
I love it. Yeah, and I'm fine. I think if everybody as a group is fine with the two of you having 5 life paths, the 2 magical types.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
Allow
it's
me
not-
to point out one of the best shows on television that has this kind of formatting, Stranger Things, where part of what makes the show interesting is having characters at different life path levels trying to deal with the same problem.
Mhm.
Did you know that there's a
So
trait
cool.
called birdie talk?
I did. Yeah.
Elizabeth Blue Jay could not keep a straight face for even half a
So,
second after saying that. She was
the
just like immediately.
The trait list, I love. So first, Dave, your character's life is amazing. I love the idea that being an apt pupil ruined your mind, and then you were taken in by the temple.
It's like I'm going to pick up Gifted, and I'm just going to be like, it kind of made me go a bit crazy, but then I came back to faith, but I was always a bit wrong, and now that this has happened, like, oh, it's all just let loose.
Well, so Temple Acolyte has faithful as one of its options, as one of the traits, right?
It does.
So you could have both gifted and faith in a dead god if you wanted.
Yeah.
If you pay the
Generally-
1 point for it.
You have Believer as well from being an pupil.
Yeah,
So-
your character's bananas.
The birdie talk trait and deranged madman trait.
Yeah,
No,
there's
it would be
so-
literally being a Disney princess.
It is, yes. Yeah,
It's
you can. Yeah.
literally being a Disney princess. You can actually speak to birds.
There's a lot of really funny ones.
I like bee speak personally.
Bee Speak's a good one.
The apiarist.
There are some that come up every time someone plays the game for the first time where they're like, I don't understand what this is supposed to mean, because there are a few that are just weird shout outs to like random stuff, and Googling them will only find people asking questions about the trait.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many that are just like little character traits where they're like, okay, you figure out how you want to play this. They're pretty good. Like
I really wish I had gotten some kind of weapon skill, like a knife.
that's
or
what
something.
general skill
Oh,
points for.
it allows you to do stuff like that.
Like
Okay.
gerbil brain. You could be a gerbil brain. Afraid of
Oh,
cheese.
sweet.
Afraid of cheese is a good one. What is it? Either
Afraid
Louis.
of cheese.
Yeah, either Louis Woo or Lewis Woo. I've never known which, and I always forget to ask. Lewis Woo is you can sleep anywhere. It doesn't matter where you are, what's going on. You can fall asleep anywhere. That's your trait,
I have a friend that has that trait.
right? I think everybody does.
Yeah.
You gerbil brained fear of cheese.
Is there a skill that lets you talk to animals though?
No. It's a trait for sure. You could also get spirits to like let you do things like that. Cool. Okay. Well, go ahead and keep bashing away at your.
Oh shit! I could get
Oh
dark.
no, Lewis Woo. That's right. Lewis Woo isn't the sleeping one. Lewis Woo is the you don't stand and drool, you laugh uncontrollably instead.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, I can't be deranged. It only leads to servant. Oh,
Aw. So you could be deranged, but it wouldn't lead you to priest.
yeah. I think I need to end up as a priest. It's
Okay.
too cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
So
this is a shame because you get like inconspicuous and sick, and I can imagine like their body and stuff, like the kind of infirm kind of.
I mean, you can
gross-
find. I'm sure you can find another like your mind is ruined life path. Let's take a look in the outcast.
Yeah, take
No-
a good
no
old
shit.
wander.
So, if it doesn't have a point next to the like domineering presence doesn't have a point next to it, does that mean you just can't buy it?
Where are you looking?
Page 322.
Domineering
It's on the top.
322.
Yeah, there's several traits that just don't have like does that mean it probably means it goes with something that you can't just buy, right?
Oh, you're just looking at ones that.
That you could potentially buy is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think if it doesn't have a cost, it's something that you have to get as part of. Yeah, this is a bishop only one. So
Okay,
you have to
yeah.
be a bishop to have domineering presence.
Okay, so I was just wondering what that was.
So Dave, you need a life path that is part of what settings? What does apt pupil lead to?
Okay. So
Let's help Dave make his character cray.
Eating maggots.
People lead to outcast, soldier, or servitude.
Okay, so we need an outcast, a soldier, or a servitude that leads to what? Where do you need to end up? City?
City or religious.
Okay, that should be easy. Let's look at the outcast ones. So, and this is your third life path. Okay.
Yeah.
Apostate. That leads to city or religious.
Mm-hmm.
Blackmailer, kidnapper. These outcast ones are all great. Pillager. Pillager leads to soldier. Yeah. You could be a vagrant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all these great options. You could be an outlaw. That leads to city or soldier. Yeah, lots of like criminal options. You could be a gravedigger. Where else to learn about the ways of the dead than by digging graves for them?
That's kind of great, actually. Oh, gravedigger doesn't lead. Oh, that's a shame.
Gravedigger leads to soldier or servitude. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get. Yeah.
And you need to get to religious or city, right?
Or city, sorry.
Right, city. Okay, let me keep looking. Gravedigger is cool, but yeah, it doesn't lead you to priest as easily as you'd like. Let's see.
In lieu of Elf King, I could have been a desperate killer for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Prostitute fits that role too. Let's see. Cultist unfortunately does not. It only leads to peasant, servitude, or soldier.
No, it doesn't
We already have a poisoner. You could just be a thug. Just straight up, just be a thug.
Yeah.
Desperate killer. Yep, same thing. A pirate. A smuggler, also less piratey. You could be
Pirate.
a mad summoner, but that requires cultist, augur, neophyte, sorcerer, arcane devotee.
Oh, yeah.
So
It doesn't.
Oh my
Hold
god,
on.
summoner gives you fear of cheese.
Hold on. Apt pupil,
Apt
guys,
pupil counts. Yeah.
Apt pupil counts as neophyte summoner, so yes, he can take that.
Yeah, so if you want to have been a mad summoner or a rogue wizard, either of those would fit right in there before you become a temple acolyte.
Apt summoner makes you fearful of cheese.
So mad summoner gives you have to take summoning, with the option to take enchanting, demonology, and imperialia. You get two trait points. You have to take mad. Optionally, you can take fear of cheese, fear of wet noises, and alarming.
Fear of wet noise.
Fear of wet noises. Yeah.
What's Imperialia?
Imperialia, I think, is the languages of the angels and demons. This is like you speak and read Enochian. Let me double check.
No, Imperialia is the equivalent of demonology, but for celestial things.
Yeah.
Right. It's thank you. Yes. Yeah. So you understand it's a study of angels. So you could take both or neither or one or the other.
Oh my god!
I like how
Oh
you're
my
making a
goodness.
character that could potentially have sorcery, summoning, enchanting, and faith. Dave's like, fuck it, I'm taking all the magic.
Yeah, I can kind of see it now. Like the gifted apt pupil messed about with things he wasn't supposed to, became a mad summoner for a while, but when like the Imperialia route kind of got
Yeah.
but we're still kind of fundamentally crazy. So when God died, just like snapped and like become this death cultist.
Well, this is the thing is you can use your skills to summon angels and ask them about God and be like, what's going on? You don't need faith. You have faith in this dead God, but you also have the ability to call forth God's servants or the devil to you.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Like Rogue Wizard seems really good, but Mad Summoner is just too.
Mad
just-
Summoner.
Go Mad Summoner, because I'm already a rogue wizard. You know, we gotta balance it
Oh,
out.
okay.
My life paths are Born Gifted, Augur, Speaker of Names, Rogue Wizard, Court Sorcerer.
Fantastic. Y'all are a mess. This is great.
Born slave, harem slave,
Whoa.
poisoner, court jester.
Mad Summoner gets 20 resource points.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
What are your paths, Blue Jay?
We've already mentioned my paths.
Oh,
I'm
I
just
must
a
have
lady.
missed it.
Born noble, young lady, courtier lady.
I'm just a
Nice.
lady.
Yeah. I'm trying to find out because I only have 5 trait points because I have so much resources points. It's like the trade-off, I guess, is I don't get a lot of traits.
What's the trait off?
Wait, what am I supposed to be doing now? I was
Being
just
Nothing.
sitting
poor
around.
builds character, whereas being rich just gives you lots of things.
I'm waiting
Yeah.
for richness is a kind of magic. We're just waiting for everybody to have picked their life paths and
Oh,
filled
okay,
out their
okay.
skill list. So do
Yeah.
that, and if you
I
finish
still
your
have to
skill
do
list-
I still have to do the age thing, which I haven't done.
I'm just
Um,
trying to see because I only have 3 trait points that I'm gonna have. I'm just trying to see what.
Right, and you have to choose Mark of Privilege and Rapier Wit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I could also choose your lordship,
Mhm,
and y'all have to call me your ladyship or whatever.
mhm.
That'll go
Good
well.
lady.
Up
I'm a
for
lady.
that.
I'll definitely do that.
Okay. Well, let's
Okay.
y'all keep doing y'all keep doing your homework. Let's give chat a minute here if they want to go and take a
Yeah.
short break.
Mhm.
And when we get back, we'll move on to spending some of these points we've accumulated. So stick around. We'll be right back with more Burning Wheel.